Message Talk Show is back again, back. Find the links on Master the Message with Alex Links on the Message Talk Show on Facebook.
Welcome again to Thursday morning with Alex Gordon on the Message Talk Show. You know, Thursday, what do you do on a Thursday? On a Thursday morning, it's the only thing that you do. Cup of coffee, water in your hand, and you listen to Alex Gordon on the Message Talk Show. Hey, don't tell me you don't do anything else in there. I'm not interested in else. What else you're doing? Because today we have a guest in-house that you want to listen to this lady. Hey, I know this lady from years ago, you know. Oh my God. But she, as a phenomenal person, stepping and creating a path for herself. So you'll be listening to this lady. So get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, call your friends. You know what? Call your worst enemies because they need to listen as well. Call them. Call them, man. Call them. Don't sit there just staring and thinking, who can I call? Call everybody you know, man, and get on the Message Talk Show because it's going to be awesome today. Today, we're going to be talking about the work of Black economics. And you know what comes to mind? I'm thinking of Martin Luther King again. Martin Luther King talked about, I have a dream. But you know what? He wasn't just dreaming about his own kids. He wasn't dreaming about his own circumstances. Martin Luther King was dreaming about you today. Yes, you, your children and your children and your children. That dream was so powerful that today people are dreaming. People can dream for themselves. They can dream for their families. They can dream for their communities. They can dream a dream and make that dream become reality. So, hey, you can tell I'm warmed up today. Man. You can tell I'm excited about the show today. So, without further ado, hey, Miss Dawn Grant, can you just say hi this morning?
Hello, good morning.
Right. She said you hi. She told you good morning. So let me just welcome you to the Message Talk Show. Message Talk Show, guys, we're here on Thursday. And we believe that passionate, mission-centered individuals are the ones who bring change, are the ones who bring change to our communities, the one who bring change to our world. So if you're a coach, if you're a business consultant, if you're someone who wants to make things happen, just connect with us. Because you know what? We help people, we'll help coaches, we help individuals go from unknown to unforgettable. Hey, in this time, in this market, you have to become unforgettable. One contact with you, man, people are going to say, hey, who's that person? Who's that guy? I need to make contact, man. I need to make connection. So on a Thursday, 11 o'clock, tune into the Message Talk Show. And if you don't make it live, there is the replay with the Message Talk Show at your host, Alex Gordon. So, hey, I'm ready. Are you ready, Dawn?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Well, hey, you know, listen to the news yesterday, last night, this week, and it somehow puts what do you call doom in the air again. People are speaking, they're getting frustrated about what's happening around them, or about what the government is saying, about, you know, everything that's going on. It is so depressing. But I'm saying to people today, no, like, let's start a new conversation. Let's have a conversation. Stay in your homes and have a conversation about what you're going to do and about what you are doing to change your life and change your world and change your community. Do you agree with that, Dawn?
Yes, I agree. There's so much that can be done even when you're in lockdown. People really should not despair. You know, there's a whole world in front of you and you can create a new world even within your home.
You can create a new world even within your home. You don't have to leave your home to create that world. That is amazing. That is amazing. So today we're talking about Black economics. Black economics has existed for a number of years now. It's been around a long time. It's nothing that's new. But when I talk about Black economics in the framework of the United Kingdom, I'm going back to Windrush every time to think when our parents first came into this country, and they lobbied together to do different things. They came together to live together, to build homes, to create homes for their families. And so Black economics has been around. But Dawn, what does Black economics mean for you?
Well, Black economics is really about what Black people bring to the table. Our talents, our hard work, our diligence, the fact that we have been using what God has given us to build up a nation and to build up our families. Sometimes that is not appreciated, however. And one of the things that I looked at when I started Black Economics way back, by the way, in 2005, was the fact that we, regardless of how hard we work and what talents we have, we seem to be in this cycle where we're not growing. We're always still at the bottom of the list. And it struck me around the time of Hurricane Katrina, when TV screens in the UK were filled with what was happening in New Orleans, where there appeared to be a lot of Black people who were said to be, they were in the ghetto, they were not rich enough to afford a car, they could not get out when the warning came out, so they were all stuck in this stadium. And for 2 weeks, we had wall-to-wall coverage of that. And I must say that most of the world were quite shocked, because we had assumed that American Blacks were actually doing fairly well. So we were surprised to find out there was a lot of Black people in America that in fact are not doing very well at all. And that seems to be hidden in some way from the world. Also in 2005, there were riots in the UK. And these riots were started because of an incident that happened in a shop that sells black hair and beauty products. Now, this shop was Asian owned. And this is a phenomenon throughout the UK, where the majority of the shops that sell black hair and beauty products are owned by Asians. And, you know, we go in and we spend our money, we happily hand over our pounds and pence, and we're making quite a number of Asian families rich, which in itself is not wrong. And you've got to give kudos to them, because they've seen an opportunity and they thought, okay, yeah, we can provide this. And for many people, if it wasn't for these Asian families who did this, you would not have products for your hair or for our skin in particular. So there was an incident, and this was reported in Birmingham, and it started riots around the UK. It started in Birmingham, and it also went elsewhere, went to London and other major cities. So there was a debate going on online about, shouldn't we own our own black hair and beauty shops? Because when we go into some of those shops, some of us are followed, some of us aren't trusted. And, you know, it'd be nice to keep some of that money in our community and make some more of our families rich. So that debate went on online. But to be fair, we were now in 2020 and nothing much has changed. You know, not a lot of us, we talk, but we're not going out to set up those shops. And we've got to thank the Asian community, because they've even started to provide a lot of the food that we like. You know, the supermarkets were really slow to move on that, and the Asian shops are doing that. So, you know, there is an issue there in terms of the fact that there are a lot of products that we need that we can't find in the mainstream shops, but we aren't providing those shops. Other people are providing those shops, and we're handing our money over. The third thing that happened in 2005, which is where the name came from. I went to a Black Run exhibition, and there was a bookshop there run by Pepe Kai, a man in North London. He has a giant black bookshop, by the way, in Tottenham. You look him up. I found this book on his shelf in the exhibition. It was called Black Economics. I read the book, and I was struck by the fact that everything in that book was everything I'd been thinking about and been talking to other people about for years. And here it was all there in print. So I decided to set up the website, Black Economics. And we, in fact, had the author of that book, Jawanza Kunjifu, come to our first conference in the UK in 2012. He came to talk and to motivate us. And he went down a storm at the conference. The book is still available for sale, by the way. You know, I don't mind plugging his book at all. It's available for sale on Amazon. And there's an interesting picture on the front cover. The cover has a black man standing in front of his shop, and he's got a sign in the window saying closing down. And then in front of him, there are loads of black hands giving out money, but they're giving it to hands from other races. So they're giving it to white hands, they're giving it to Asian hands, you know, and Mr. Brown's black-owned business is closing down. And that really concerned me. So I said, okay, with this website that I'm setting up, it's going to be news about Black-owned businesses and corporate success from Black individuals. But we'll also have a Black-owned business directory. So we did that, and the directory has grown. We have now put the directory into an app which launched in July this year called blackbizapp.net. So anybody can access it, and you can access it from your laptop, from your phone, any type of phone. And we list black-owned businesses on it for free. So we are busy adding new businesses on it, probably about 200 or so per week. And there are businesses that you can find here in the US, Canada, Nigeria, and Jamaica. There will be other countries added. But as you can understand, it's quite a lot of work because we put the business, we put some information about the business, and we put a picture to illustrate the business, and we also link to their website. So at the moment, we're only doing businesses that either have a website or an Instagram link or somewhere that shows where they sell their products. And I know there's still a lot of black-owned businesses out there without a website, without a web presence. And I had someone said to me the other day, I've had my business for 20 years. Why do I need a website? Well, you know, in 2020, you need to be online to show that you exist. It's not enough to have a phone number people just call, you know.
It's not enough. It's not enough to have a phone number for people to call. And let me just pull you back there. You said earlier that we as the Black community, probably especially those from the Afro-Caribbean community, we've been reluctant to set up the businesses and set up the ideas that we talk about and get them up and running. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's a very good question, because it's a question sometimes I ask people in churches. Because one of the things we find is one of the best organized groups of Black people are Black churches in this country. Some of them are small, some of them have 5,000 or more members. Some of them are turning over millions. So as a business entity, our Black churches, most of them are quite successful. What I tend to find is that people within those churches who run businesses, they tend not to make a song and dance about it. It's kind of quiet. You know, it's almost like they're running a drugs run or something. You know, this is my private thing and nobody knows about it. Maybe because they don't want people to know about it because it's not big enough yet, or maybe they feel that people won't be interested. But it's like some well-kept secret, and I could never understand it. I mean, one of the things that we're trying to do with churches is to encourage them to get a list of the businesses within your community and promote it to the rest of the members and to people who attend your churches. So at least they can know what's going on and they can support it if they want to.
True.
And there's also the thing that people think, oh, I don't want to be responsible for I've introduced this business and that business let them down. But I mean, that could happen in any community. You know, not all businesses, you know, are shining lights when it comes to customer service. We all watch Faulty Towers, you know, there's not a Black person in there, but you could see the bad service that inspired John Cleese to write that series, you know, where people went into a hotel and the service was so bad you wanted to walk back out. You know, we can't make that be an excuse for not to support our businesses. And really, if you own a business, there are so many ways that you can make a song and dance about that business now. You've got traditional methods such as leaflets, posters, radio interviews, advertising. TV advertising is now so cheap. You can get a spot on TV once you've got your ad made for like £5 every time it's shown. So it's, you know, it's not even that expensive anymore. And there's so many small channels as well as big channels. There are PR people within our community who are expertise in getting your story in the newspapers. And then there's the new methods, Instagram. There are people killing it on Instagram. Seriously, I see some amazing talent on Instagram, especially from our artists, our visual artists. You know, you see some of the work they've done. And then you look at the traditional art that, you know, the mainstream art community promote. Some of it is like 3 lines and they're charging £3 million for it, you know, and you think, look at our artists here, you know, we're the ones that need to be now stepping up and showing the world what we have, and not just to Black people. We've got to show it to everybody. We've got to show it to mainstream. And that's one of the targets of Black economics, to actually ensure that our businesses come out from the shadows. You know, stop thinking that, you know, you're not big enough or you're not good enough and no one's gonna, or someone's gonna laugh at you, or someone's gonna bring you down, because there's always somebody waiting to pour cold water on what people are doing.
But talk about coming out of the shadows. You came from teaching to tech. I'm thinking, you never asked permission about coming to tech world, male dominated world, and you stepped into the tech world. Now, if I can remember clearly, you trained to be a teacher. That's what I met you. That's right. That's what I met you. When you were training to be a teacher, we connected. But what pushed you from teaching to tech?
Yeah, that's an interesting journey. That was when I was growing up. I always wanted to be a teacher, so I fulfilled that dream. So I got into teaching, and I taught for quite a long time. Yes, Alex, I met you in Leicester while I was studying. When you go away to university and you meet all these people on your journeys, you were one of those I met. I was doing my master's degree at the time, and then I did a PGC afterwards. I went to teach maths. Initially, it wasn't that easy to get a job. All my colleagues in the university course were getting jobs, and sometimes a black person's among the last to finally get a job. So the job that I eventually got, they asked me if I could teach IT. And having done computer programming as part of my maths degree, I said, yeah, sure, I can teach IT. Yeah, that's a good lesson in saying yes to everything, by the way. So what I would then do once I got the job was make sure I learned everything fast before I taught. So it was a case of night before or week before, and keep learning. So I'd be two steps ahead of the students. And I don't think they ever found me out, which was interesting. But then I began to teach more and more IT as IT became more prevalent in schools. Because you got to understand, when I was in school, there was no IT, but I learned how to touch type because, I just thought maybe secretarial work might come in handy if teaching didn't work out. So when computing became the name of the game, then I was kind of ahead because I could touch type, so made everything fast for me. Whereas some people were like this, and some people are still like that, actually, still trying to find the letter, and it's quite painful to watch. But thankfully, there is speech to text software now, so you can talk and it will type it for you. You just have to go and edit it. So yeah, I got my first job teaching maths and tech, and then I began to teach more IT as time went along. And when I started to think about moving up the ladder in terms of promotion, I went for second in maths jobs or head of maths jobs, and I wasn't getting them. But when I went for a head of IT, the first one I got it. So I thought, oh, okay. So this is my route up the ladder then. So I became head of IT in 3 schools eventually. I quite enjoyed it. So as part of IT, I'd be teaching up to A level. I'd be teaching programming. And when web design came in, it was actually a student who taught me first, who gave me my first lesson, one of my students in how to design websites. And then I taught it to my class, and then they started producing amazing work. It's amazing when you can teach people and they start doing so much better than you. And part of my job involved setting up a network in the school. It was a 1,500 student school in North London, and I had to set up a network linking 2 buildings. So it was a case of, planning the cabling, planning the what software we were going to use to manage the network, buying all the new computers, and then after all that was done, there had to be a trench dug across the field to connect one building to the other. Now, I didn't do the digging, but I commissioned that, and it just so happens that I had to write the bid to raise the money to do all this. So I wrote the bid. The bid was successful, raised nearly £500,000 to my school. And and then I spent the next couple of years there sort of spending that money, making sure everything was done correctly, and then doing the training. So we had to train staff and students in how to use the internet. So this was when the internet was coming in and everyone was excited about it. So I was doing a lot of work, and I remember one teacher seeing me across the playground and saying, "Oh, here comes the hardest working teacher in the school." I was like, yeah, that's right. First in, last out kind of thing. But, as time goes on, I began to feel that once that major project was done, that I needed to sort of spread my wings. And I thought I'd come out of teaching and do something else, do business, in fact, because I was always quite business oriented, even if I was teaching, I was sort of encourage people in business, although I wasn't doing it myself. And eventually myself and my husband set up a restaurant, and he was running it while I was teaching. So basically I felt, okay, let me come out and do full-time business. So I came out, I was designing websites and doing various other tasks for small businesses, which I still do, by the way. And I was writing books. So those are the two key things I wanted to do: write books and design websites and help people with the tech solutions for business. So it's while I was doing that I came up with the idea of Black Economics, to be fair. Although I had run another website, big website before that, which promoted Caribbean food. That was and that went on for quite a while. We did conferences and things around that, and I worked with some government agencies to help raise the profile of Caribbean cuisine. So when I moved on to Black Economics, and I was looking at all different kinds of Black businesses, not just food. So that's really how I moved on from teaching to tech.
Well, I noticed that you after founding your business on the tech world and building a tech world, you've now structured it around something called BEAR, Black Economic Aspirations, Achievements and Recognition. Why BEAR?
Well, I think the words speak for themselves.
So Black economics has been around for some time. It's been one of those things that we've been working with in our communities. We've been doing it. But one of the things that's happened for Black, especially from the Afro-Caribbean community, as Dawn said, there's a reluctance to actually drive the businesses that we talk about that's in our minds. There's a reluctance to actually make them happen at a time, put the structure in them and make them happen. Now, in the last 10, 15 years, we have now seen the tech world take control of everything. Social media, websites, selling on funnels. The opportunities are so vast now for us to just step out with the ideas, and you can run a business from your house without leaving your house, and build a company that's turning over 6 to 7 figures from your house. It's amazing what you can do with the technology that we now have. So there's no reason why the ideas shouldn't be stepping out in this time that we're in. Am I correct, Dawn?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Whatever dreams you have, whatever things you want to design, you need to get on and do it, because life is short, man. You need to get on and do it. Things that you thought about 2 years ago, if you'd have done them, think about how far you could have got now. You know, so your question was about BEAR. There are various entities to Black economics now, which couldn't really be covered under that name. So Black Economics Aspirations, it looks at the dreams that people have and those who are fulfilling them, and also tries to encourage people to strive for what they want, and, you know, don't let anything stop you, because you can guarantee there's going to be something or somebody trying to say, oh no, don't do this, don't do that. But, you know, you've got to persevere. You've got to do the things that you feel will help society. That's really important. So aspiration is important, and achievement recognition. A lot of things are going on. We've just started a project recently with a department store, and it has unveiled for us a lot of Black-owned businesses that we didn't know were there. You know, so even if we spent a lot of years doing a Black-owned business directory, still a lot of people out there whom we haven't come across yet, and that's fine, because, you know, I believe there's probably about 100,000 Black-owned businesses. Wow. Black-owned businesses here in this country anyway. But, you know, in America, the stats recently announced that there are 2.5 million Black-owned businesses in America, which is fantastic. Although your business can do well without employing anyone, and, you know, kudos to you if that's what you're doing. But in order to move things along and grow a business tremendously, it's really good to be able to employ people so that you're not the one doing everything. So if 5% of them are actually employing other people, we feel that, you know, that percentage can be improved. Surely that percentage can be improved, where people are not just remaining small businesses forever, but that they become medium businesses, and then eventually become, you know, corporations, and then eventually a launch on the stock market. You know, that's not beyond us. You know, there are ideas that mainstream English people are coming up with, and then within 6 months they've raised £500,000 for this business, and you think, oh, my idea is better than that. But you were sitting on your idea. You didn't follow it through. You didn't push it through. So of course they're going to be the ones, because you know they're pushing through to find out, where can I get this money? And okay, I might not be, you know. And the interesting thing about the VC world, by the way, is you can be raising funds. You don't need to have a collateral. You know, like, oh yeah, we've got to have, you know, a house with £500,000 equity in it. That's not the way it works in the VC world. It's really interesting, and I kind of been pushed into that recently, because we had a company that organized a virtual VC event, and they asked us to promote it. So we've been doing that, and there's a link on our website to it, because they're doing another of those 3-day events in November. And the interesting thing is, although it's a virtual event, the tickets are at $99, and they've given us a discount code so people can get money off if they buy it through our code. But that's the early bird cost. If you book sort of like a month before the event, it goes up to $299. So the idea is, you know, we're pushing it so people can get in early and see what's going on in the VC world. There are people who are VCs who are speaking about their requirements. There are people who are entrepreneurs who are pitching for VC money. They talk about the pitch deck. They talk about success stories, and it's really important to get educated in this area, and it's interesting that they should come to us to promote that for them.
Well, just in case people are wondering what VCs are, you referred to quite a bit. What are VCs?
It's venture capital. These are people with deep pockets who will lend money based on the potential of your business. So your business probably isn't even making any money, but they can still lend you a lot of money, you know, 100,000, 500,000, 2 million. And you got to realize that a lot of tech companies, especially, they love tech companies, by the way, because they feel the growth area is big. They can grow to be worth billions in 18 months, couple of years, you know. So they make back the money very quickly that they have invested, because, you know, banks aren't really giving any interest if you save in banks right now. But if you invest in a startup as a VC, you might get back 10 times what you put in, you know, within 5 years. So that's obviously more lucrative for them. It's also risky, because a lot of people that they invest in, you know, they don't get their money back. But if you get one company out of 10 making you back 10 times what you put in, then, you know, you still, you know, quids ahead. So VCs, venture capital, people look at your business. They want to see your pitch deck, your business plan. They want to see what you're doing. They want to see what you see in the future, you know. So getting your paperwork right is so important. And then there's also a personality thing. Will they like you? It's not even about your business nowadays. It's about, do they like you? Is your face fit? Do they like you? And some of them are now saying, oh yeah, we want to invest in Black-owned businesses. And there are some Black VCs around as well. We have a few detailed on our website. And if you search on Google, you'll find some. So there are Black VCs or Asian VCs. It's really controlled. Most of it you'll find in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. So it's a white world, and in terms of VC money given out, 1% of it goes to Black-owned businesses. And I put a very interesting article on the website a few weeks ago, where it said that in Kenya, the businesses that were being invested in Kenya by VCs were only 1% owned by Black startups. And most were owned by white startups within Kenya, you know. Wow. So I thought, oh my goodness, even in a Black country, you know, we can't catch a break, you know.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Yeah, so that is an issue. It's definitely an issue.
So let me ask you a question here, as to since you've been driving this full force now, and probably in the last 10 years, what impact do you think Black economics, from your perspectives, you've had on the British economy?
Black economics?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd look at it that way. I would look at it this way. I would look at it that we have a spending power of over 100 million in this country. I would look at it as our music industry is more than 50% dominated by Black artists, and we are contributing a lot to the Black economy. You've got to look at our sports stars, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's Lewis Hamilton, who's flying the flag for us, even if he's the sole person. You've got to look at what we're bringing to the table, and they can't look at us and say we're not doing anything and then we're all at home in ghettos, because we're not. We are working hard. We are producing amazing fashion, by the way. Oh my goodness. If you've ever been to a Black fashion show, or the fashions that you can see out there are just stunning, It makes you, if you walk into a standard British store, it makes you feel that what's happening here? These are rather boring. The colors, the styles, and the artwork that we're producing. We have top 10 artists in this country. Their work is worth millions. The potential is there, for us to actually control a huge part of the economy. And people, it's a big secret. People don't know it yet.
Well, the stats. I pulled up some stats. Got my researcher to look at some stats for me yesterday, and the stats show that the black economy is worth 300 billion. 300 billion it's worth. That's the value they're putting on it.
In this country. And in America, it's 1.5 trillion.
Wow. And so imagine the advertising spend that's now going after that economy. Going after, you look on TV now, you see a lot more adverts, including Black people on there. That's deliberate, tapping into the market. So how can we as Black run businesses then help to divert some of that money to our businesses?
Well, this is a task that we all need to take on board. Every one of us, we've got to think about what money is coming into our community. What money are we spending out back to our community? The Jewish businesses support their businesses so well. Asian businesses support their businesses, and obviously white businesses support their businesses too. But Black people, for some reason, have not been keen to do that. Maybe they feel the products are not good enough, or in most cases, they just don't know about the products, and this is where marketing is so crucial, that people who have businesses have got to spend some of that money on marketing. You can't afford not to do marketing. Otherwise, you're going to be stuffed, basically, because you'll be pushing something and you'll be pushing it year after year, and your balance sheet is not going to look good. So it's really important to get that message out. And this is part of where we come in, to really try and get the message out, not just to Black people to spend on with their businesses, but also to mainstream, to inform them that, these businesses exist, they provide such and such, why not buy from them? And also for corporates to look at using suppliers that are from diverse backgrounds. If you're always using the same supplier and you've used them for 10 years, maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's time to use one of our manufacturers that does the fashion. Maybe it's time to use one of our soft furnishings manufacturers. Some of our people are doing furniture. Maybe it's time that you use us for supplying goods to the kitchen, catering. Maybe it's time that you use that in so many different ways. Get our books, get the items that we produce, our jewelry, our carpets. There's so many things that we are producing nowadays that people don't know. And really, it's our responsibility to get that message out. Because if they know and then they reject us, then we will say we've done what we can. But in a lot of cases, they don't know. They just don't know that these businesses exist. So if you are a small business, have you got your list of 100 businesses that you're targeting and you're contacting and you're pestering? because you're sending them leaflets, you're sending them emails, you're telephoning them, and you're making them get to know you, even if they're not buying from you yet. And eventually, when they're ready to buy that product, they will come to you. Are you pushing that? And also, as individuals within the community, when was the last time you bought from a black-owned business? And what did you buy? Is it always hair or food that you're buying? Don't you know that we do other things apart from that? You know.
So it's your responsibility to get your business out there. It's your responsibility to make your business pop up in the world, pop up where it's supposed to be. And one of the ways you can do that is by going on the app that Dawn has launched. So I'm going to get Dawn just to talk you through the app.
Okay. So here is a blackbizapp.net, which you can pick up on your phone or on your laptop. This app, at the moment, it has about 1,000 businesses on it. It is due for another 600 to be added. We've already done the background work for it, so that's going to be added shortly. And you can find different categories on the app. There will be musicians, there will be artists, there are accountants, lawyers, there are fashion designers, hairdressers, barbers, photographers, you name it's on the app. If there's any category that's not on there, then you can contact us and say we need to have this particular category on there. But we've tried to cover all the main things that people are doing. And it's so useful because, you know, if you're looking for fashion, you can just go in and search for fashion, and you can search for fashion in the UK or USA or Canada or Jamaica or Nigeria. You can actually search as well as look at the long list and browse through. Each of the links are linked to the website of the business. And as I said, if they don't have a website, it links either to their Instagram or other portal. Like if they're selling on Etsy or if they're selling on Amazon, it links to those portals too. You can add your business. There's a button on the right-hand side that says Add a Biz. So you can add your business, and that takes you to a form where you fill in your details, and it doesn't add the business immediately. It goes to our list, and we have to approve the business. The reason for that is that I did set up a different directory once, and then I discovered that there were a lot of Chinese businesses added to it. And I thought, well, this wasn't quite the plan. So now we vet every business that fills their details, you know. So yeah, it's been used. It's been well used. Once again, this is an area that we're going to promote more as we add the other businesses. We're waiting to make sure we've got about 1,600 businesses on it first before we start pushing it to the world. So that will probably start 1st of October. We're going to make sure we make a big song and dance about it.
Well, that is awesome. We've got some questions here coming from the public, Dawn, here. And what one says here, it says, you're very ambitious. What's driving you?
Wow, is that coming across that I'm ambitious? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that was the impression I was given. Interesting. I love to see people do well. I get excited when a business is doing well. When somebody contacts me and I look at their website, I thought, oh wow, this is so amazing. I just get so excited by that. That for me, that's a continual feeling I keep getting when people send through information about their business. There's some that come through that you sort of feel this has real potential, and I want to help them. I want to help them grow their business. And I think part of what I've been doing over the years is because I run a tech and marketing company, is that I've been able to help a lot of businesses, whether it's through, you know, helping them with business advice, with helping with their website or with their social media and so on. So that kind of help does engender a feeling that they can do it, I can do it, other people are doing it, and we should not limit ourselves. You know, we really should not limit ourselves. And I feel like God has given me particular gifts and talents, and I want to use it for the community. And It is being used. You know, what I planned in my head, it is happening. And I
Wow.
remember every new big website I set up, I remember sitting down with one of my friends and saying, "This is what I want to do," and you know, and it happens within sometimes within a few months, within a few years, it happens. And I just feel that we all need to have that kind of motivation where we see things of where we want to go. It doesn't mean that I feel, by the way, that I've made a success, because I don't feel that way at all. And in fact, I remember when Alex was saying to me, "Oh, you know, yeah, people want to hear from me," and I was like, "Why would they want to hear from me, for goodness sake? You know, so many other people out there. Why would they?" Trying to make things happen, both for my family and for my community. And I've got to say, it's not always easy. It's tough, you know. And Black economics is set up in such a way that um, we as a family fund it ourselves. You know, nobody has paid for it. And because I'm a web designer, then you know that's cut out most of the expense. Because if I was to get somebody to do that
Wow.
website for me, it's got 1,000 pages, for goodness sake, they'd be like, "Okay, hand over 50 grand," and they'd be like, "Okay." And it's funny, I did get a quote once from somebody just to see what they were going to say, and they said, "Okay, we could do the framework of it, and it'll be 10,000." Like,
Wow.
"Oh, okay." So we've invested time
Wow.
and you
Amazing.
know our expertise, you know, myself and family, and they've been great. And we're working towards building up so that yes, we do get some of that VC investment, and then we've got some major plans, because I'm thinking with what we're doing now, God has been good, but we're doing it on the shoestring. If we
Yeah.
get more than a shoestring, you know, we will be able to help a lot more people, and it will be tangible help. Because you know, I'd like somebody to say, "Yeah, I need to get into this store, but I need 20 grand to do it." Because once the store says yes, you still have to get the money to be able to do the products. I mean, I know this because I used to supply supermarkets myself. I used to supply Asda stores with their manufactured food. And once they said yes, and they wanted 6 of my products, I had to go and find 20 grand in order to start it. So it's not even a case of saying, "No, you know, let's get into store and that'll be the be all and end all." No, it's not even about that. It's about that we need backing. We really need backing to be able to soar. And I think if we start to get that in a tangible way, whether it comes through Black economics or elsewhere, because a lot of other people are doing similar things. We're not saying we're the only ones. But if we start to get tangible investment, we will soar. You know, the kind of soaring that you can see from PDD, from Jay-Z, and from Tiny Temper here, from Stormzy. We will soar because our talents aren't just only music. We've got amazing talents that need to come to the fore. And I think in 10 years' time, you probably won't recognize the Black community, because you know, we won't be bottom of every list. We'll be somewhere in the middle.
And it's good to go there, because the next question says, "What do you hope to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years?" And you almost just went there just then. What do you hope to achieve?
A lot of investment coming in for Black-owned businesses. A lot of doors, opportunities opening. That's really what I want to see happening. You know, a lot of the stores we're trying to get in, we can build some of those stores ourselves. You know, we can build our own e-commerce giants, you know, with our own products. There's a lot of things that we want to achieve. We know that they will be achieved, whether it's us or someone else. We don't know, but there's a lot of room for people to grow. The talents are there, the seeds are there. We want to see those seeds grow into acorns. And I can say to you that, you know, there are about at least 5,000 businesses in this country which are Black owned that could be major multimillionaire companies within the next 5 years. And we are pushing for that to happen, not just from Black economics point of view, but from other business point of view as well. I mean, and by the way, Bear Group Limited, the name was set up because it encompasses Black economics, a website. It encompasses icobart.org, which is ICOBART. That stands for In Celebration of Black Art. It also encompasses the app as well, blackbizapp.net. So there are 3 divisions currently within the Black economics. There probably might be 4 or 5 soon, but that's why we call it Bear Group Limited, because a group of companies really aiming to push the agenda of increasing the wealth of Black communities and recognizing the achievements of our people, which is pushing our own economics and also helping the country, helping the British country. People don't realize if you took away our music from the UK, can you imagine?
Wow.
If you took away our style, if you watch some of these programs, if you don't see a Black person in it, it can be, sort of, it's there. If you took away our the fact that we are so vibrant, compare sort of quiet mainstream churches to joyous color noise of Black churches. It's a culture shock for some English people who come into our churches, isn't it? They're like, oh, look, what's going on? And the music is fantastic. If you took away our art, if you took away our creativity, and that's why some of these mainstream companies need to realize that if they're keeping us out of the workplace, if they're keeping us out of jobs, they're actually shooting themselves in the foot, because there's so many ideas that are coming from us, so much creativity, that their growth could be accelerated if they work with us.
You are so right, because there's a lot of our talent and that's been birthed inside our churches. A lot of it's been birthed in there and ushered out in almost under secret into the mainstream.
Exactly.
And because the people that they're there, their music is having massive impact, but you don't know it's coming from them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And think about some of these mainstream companies who basically made their billions off of us. Adidas, Nike, I mean, Adidas is not going to let Kanye West go, no matter what Kanye West does. They know his designs are bringing in, the billions that they need. And they know that we're out there spending with them.
Billions. Hey, man, I just look at the time and I'm thinking, man, time's disappearing. We're having so much fun here. And before I ask you the final question, Dawn, I just want to take us to our sponsor before we go to that question. Let's go to the sponsor.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
And as you rightly said, Black people bring so much to the market. They bring not just in America, in the UK especially, Black people bring so much. There's so much diversity, there's so much talent, there's so much resource that's in there. What would you say? What would you want to say to the community right now? You're talking to millions of people out there. What would you want to say to them right now?
Know your worth. Realize that people do value us. And you have to push through if any doors are closed, right? Sometimes they say if one door closes, another opens. Yes, that happens, but not all the time. You have to push through. And there's a saying that your nose have to run if you want to be successful. Like you have to suffer to get there. I like reading biographies. As you can see, I've got a lot of books behind me, and we have about 1,000 books in this house. I also write a lot of books. One of the things that I did from early on is start writing, and you can find my page on Amazon with all the 20 books or so that I've written. Most of the books are written around health and business. I haven't actually written anything around Black economics yet, or rather I should say I am writing information about Black economics, but the books aren't out yet. Some are coming out in October next month. So I would say that you have to push through to your talents, use your talents, or develop your talents. If you think there's something you'd like to learn to do, please take a course. So many courses are out there that are free now, especially during lockdown. You could learn how to code. You can learn how to draw or paint. You can learn how to do fashion design. You can learn how to make clothes. There's so many areas that you can learn how to do and make a business out of it. Let's face it, I'm kind of passionate about business because I know it's a way that we can accelerate our income. If you have a job and your job is giving you, say, 2,000 or 3,000 a month, that's all you're ever going to get. And although you can use that to invest to do something else, with a business, it is possible to earn 2,000-3,000 a week, 2,000-3,000 a day. It is possible to actually grow that business in a much faster way than you would be able to grow your income in a job. But also, if you're in a job, remember, you have free time after your work. You know, what do you do, say, between 6 and 12 at night, and maybe between 5 and 8 in the morning? It is possible to have a side hustle. And what I'm encouraged about is a lot of young people now are having side hustles. They're having things that they're building outside of their normal job. They're using work income they get from their job to finance the business, and eventually they might be able to leave work and focus on that business. You know, I'd like to encourage more people to do that, to have a side hustle or to have a main hustle, whichever way you want to look at it, and look at the different opportunities that they're out there. Maybe even as you look at our Black Biz app, you might look at some businesses that are there and thinking, oh, this looks good. Maybe I could do something like that. Or maybe you could join them. Maybe you could ask them if they have a job and you can join as an intern or volunteer to help people who are in the particular business you're interested in, because then you will yourself learn more about how to do the business professionally, and you could grow faster once you start.
Hey, the CEO of Black Economics said you must have a side hustle. It's important to have a side hustle. And the thing is now, anything is a business now. As all you have to do is find an audience. As long as you've got an audience, a market there, anything can form a business now, from very small ideas to massive ideas. So do not underestimate what you're thinking, what you're dreaming about. Do not underestimate it, because you know what will happen? You will walk down the road one day, you look around, and you'll see something. You said, I thought about that. I was thinking about that.
Exactly.
I was thinking that. Somebody stole my idea from my head.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Dawn, it's been great having you today on the show. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.
Black economics, and you know, just the formation of the ideas and a place like a hub. I think that was what this sounds like, a hub for ideas, a hub for pushing out things and to watch things grow. And one of the things that you said, what I really tuned into, is about, we have, in the last 30 years, no big Black corporations in the UK that we can refer to from the Black community. Am I right?
There are some. We're gonna list them. There are some, but they tend not to sing their praises. So some of them don't want. The interesting thing is some of them don't actually want to be known as Black owned because they feel that they might lose business.
Wow. They don't want to be known as Black owned because they fear they might lose business.
Yeah.
Wow. But things are changing. Things are changing. Things are on the move now. Britain has opened up a lot more than it's ever opened up. It's a room for ideas. It's a room for people to push out what they have and push out what they know, and, you know, make that idea become reality. And just watching social media alone, that's just blown things up. Blown things up. I mean, even when putting out the advert for this event today, you know, the work of Black Economics, man, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, man, I was getting comments from everywhere about.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice, Alex. That's nice. It's nice to see you blowing up. It's nice to see your message talk show, and yeah, well done, well done.
Thank you, Dawn.
You know, I've always tried to encourage you over the years because, you know, I think you're a huge motivator. I think you're amazing. I think you'd make an amazing minister. You know I was going to go there, didn't you?
Every time I have this conversation with this lady, she seems to be pushing me in that direction about becoming a minister. But hey,
I'm sure the Lord is calling you, Alex.
Sorry?
I'm sure the Lord is calling you. And you're not listening.
Hey, the Lord is calling, but the Message Talk Show is talking, my sister.
Right, okay.
Talking to the world.
You're doing it in a different way. Okay, I understand.
We're using what we've got to touch the world. Thank you so much, Dawn. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. And if you want to pick up further information about Dawn, let me put her details on the screen. Yes, all the information here, all the websites that you can go to, all the information about what she's up to, what she's doing, the organizations that she's running. They're on the Facebook page. So go and take access now. Get your app on. Get your business on the app now. It's no time for delay. Just make it happen. Folks, I just want to thank you for tuning into the Message Talk Show today with Dawn Grant. It's been amazing. It's been amazing having you with me today. And I'm telling you, I've been so excited about this show. I've been so excited that, I'm thinking, man, Dawn, I have to get you back on this show at some point. I have to pre-book you now because you're going to be so busy. But you're going to be so busy. But hey, these things happen to people when you push through. I remember the first event that Dawn invited me to when she launched Black Economics in 2012.
2012, we had our first conference.
Yeah, the first conference. I remember that day now. I stood up there talking and people coming in, people opening their eyes, opening their minds. And this lady stuck at it. She kept it going. She made it happen. And she believes with all her heart that something needs to be created from us to touch the world. And this is it. This is it. Your contribution, guys. Your contribution matters. Your contribution is valid. Your contribution must happen before you leave this earth, because that's the reason you were sent here, guys. So thank you for tuning into the Message Talk Show. And I will see you again next week, 11 o'clock. It's the only show that you listen to. It's the only show that you listen to on a Thursday morning. So thank you. This is the Message Talk Show, tuning out. Miss the show. You got to be on this show.